Chan came from Sanskrit, okay, Chana, and is translated as stillness contemplation, Jing Lu. Okay, what does it mean? I need to explain you these concepts because these are fundamental to your. We need to teach you and help you make progress faster than the Asians, because we need to play catch up with them. They have centuries of Chan training before us. In particular, in the recent technology that Master Shohei brought to us, they have decades. They've been doing it decades before we are doing it. So therefore, we must do it better than they do. Okay? And we have been doing that. I've been experimenting how to teach you and teach people. So that's why the results of our American Weiyang methodology, I feel, is much better than the Chinese Weiyang. All right? And so let me explain to you this Chan training and what it's about. It's translated as stillness contemplation. Okay? It's Jing Lu. Okay, or another definition is thought contemplation. What is that? Su Lu. Okay, Su is thought. Okay, you're thinking. Yeah, and so what it's referring to? It refers to the fundamental aspect of life. Okay, what is the driving force in our lives, you think? Thinking, thoughts. Yes? Everything begins with thoughts for us. Yes, you get up and say, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. Never mind, that's not cool. I need a cup of coffee, okay? I need to kiss my wife, okay? We all do that. We all are driven by thoughts, yes? And that's what Chan is about. Chan is about thought cultivation. So you see, Chan, therefore, I now proclaim to you, and I agree with all the great patriarchs, that Chan is fundamental to life. It's just as important as eating, as drinking, as taking a shower, dressing up, going to work. It's just as important. And why is that? The Western technology, our Western technology, is very inept at it. Think about it. It's such an important part of life, actually. It's the core aspect of life. You go to work, you use your thoughts to work. Yeah? Before you get to work, you need to drive and use your thoughts to drive. Some people might say, I take the train. I gotta hop on the bus. How do you hop on the bus? How do you take the train? You have the thought, I'm going to take the train today. I'm going to drive today. Yeah? I'm going to do carpool today. You see? It's the core of all of our activities. And yet, the Western education, Westerners, the smartest people in Western education, never figured out how to optimize these thought processes. The foundation is the foundation of life. Isn't it interesting? They only worry about high levels. Now they worry about how to get the best cup of coffee. Are we going to use a Keurig machine? I'm going to go to, my nuns are addicted to Starbucks. You know? And so we excel at how to fulfill our desires, but we never learn how to master the main force behind desires is thought. Why is that? The brightest people in our world, the so-called geniuses of our civilization, our times, have no clues on how to cultivate thoughts. What is the driving force for EVs? Don't tell me it's batteries. Don't tell me, oh God, don't tell me electric motors. Yes, 9.
It's many thoughts.
Thank you so much. Mwah! Someone understands me, finally. See, before your EV can function, someone says, I'm going to drive it. Yes? Or, if you're Waymo, I'm going to give someone a chance to crash my car. Oh, by the way, don't take Waymo. I don't care what they say. Be careful. Do not put your life in the hands of a stupid machine. The Waymo people gave too much money to the politicians in San Francisco. That's why these San Francisco politicians were influenced in granting them permits, taxi permits. Yes, 9.
Oh, Master, I know one of my distant relatives' son gave them auto assist car.
Auto assist?
You know, it's like one of those cars that just drives them around.
Auto
Their
assist?
son who
What
works
kind of auto assist?
I mean, you know, like you're talking about that it will...
Self-driving?
Self-driving car.
Auto assist.
I don't know what it is.
Women, no wonder. They're so adorable, but we don't understand them at all.
And they had a video of them sitting in the back seat while this car was driving them around. I know.
It's such a cool thing in San Francisco nowadays. It costs more than a real man. So actually, they're taking jobs away from poor people like us, okay, and give it to a machine it's more prone to crashing and killing others than us. That's technology for you. That's so sad to hear. It's such a cool thing nowadays to drive, without to those self-driving taxis. Okay. Anyway, I'd rather take the bus or walk. Yeah, I feel safer on my own 2 feet than sitting in my buns and waiting with someone, no one to drive me around. Anyway, how did we get there? Yes, sir, too.
Pastor, the word Chan, did you say it comes from the word Chana, and that's Sanskrit?
Yes, Sanskrit, yes. It has multiple translations. First is stillness, contemplation. Is Sulu, Sulu, Jinglu, Sulu. And the other is thought cultivation. Okay, and so what it's about is, so you see the name right there is the declaration that this kind of practice is what we do to train our thoughts. Fundamentally, and when you meditate, it's you train how to control your thoughts. And this is why it is so scary to the intellectuals and the scholars, because they cannot cultivate or control their thoughts. Yes, go Forrest.
Master, very recently, a friend of mine, pretty young, 39, had a stroke the last month, and the doctors thought he was going to die. And when I first talked to him after the stroke, it was really strange because he didn't make any sense. None of the words coming out of his mouth belonged to the conversation we were having. Very recently, I talked to him again, and he made a miraculous recovery. He sounds normal now, but he's trying to, change his life because his poor habits led to the stroke, he believes. And so I want to introduce him to our style of meditation. At the same time, I don't know if it's necessarily healthy to push him to cross his legs at this point, having just experienced it. Can you give me any thoughts about how he should approach crossing his legs and learning from you, Master?
So first of all, I assume that that you know him well enough to be convinced that he needs to meditate. Yes, that's you.
Yes, Master.
Okay. Is he convinced that he needs to meditate?
He's convinced he needs to make serious changes in his life.
Okay, serious changes. That does not necessarily mean that he feels he needs to meditate.
But he's told me he's open to learning meditation. I don't know how serious, I can't, tell, but he said he's open to learning.
That's very good. Then the next thing for you to do is ask him, what does he know about meditation? What are his inclinations about learning meditation? We never force ourselves on others. Never. If they want to meditate, people want to meditate, first we ask them, what's your interest? Where do you live? What's your exposure to meditation? What's your experience on meditation? Okay? What's your background? Your family, your friends, what do they do for meditation? So you find out, because people are much better off doing things that they are familiar with. Okay, that's the first aspect. Second aspect is that our style is sort of like intensive. Okay, and therefore, it's most suitable for those who have real needs. Okay, real needs about major changes in their lives, whether it's physical health, like you mentioned, that is your friend of yours. He needs to make lifestyle changes, significant lifestyle changes, but not only that, he needs to really see results. When he makes changes, he needs to see results. Okay? So this is the difference between what we do and the other styles. Yes, it's harder initially, but you see results a lot faster. So that's why you have to be cautious not to oversell our style of meditation. Okay, what we do is try to help him. What you want to do is help him improve. If he's the type of person who only can handle the gradual improvements, okay, like women. Why, so funny again? Am I betraying my biases? Huh? Yes, I am, huh? Okay, so I'm biased. But, women are more inclined to gradual changes, okay? Whereas men are a lot more impatient. It's the nature of the makeup. So men are a lot more impatient, and therefore they don't mind going for more extremes to see faster and bigger results. So it depends. Okay, it depends on a personality. But the first answer to your question is it a good thing, our style of meditation is a good thing for him? Absolutely. We can go slow in our style. For example, the way we teach you, all of you beginners, those who are beginning, is to try to learn to get into full lotus. And you train it by sitting longer and incrementally longer and longer and longer. That's all. So we can go very slow, like some women who prefer going slow. And she says, okay, I like it. I want to keep up with my husband, so I'm going to go slow, and watch over him, okay? And he goes crazy, at least one of us is still sane. Okay, so I don't know. You go ahead. I will follow you eventually. I'll catch up with you eventually. So it depends. Our style is very adaptable. You do the same exact thing, but it depends on how intensively you're willing to do it. The results are proportionally proportional to the intensity of the practice. Okay, so the bigger the needs, the more intense they would be inclined to do it, then they see much faster results. But health-wise, meditation, whether it's intensive or not intensive, is always very beneficial for your health, both physical and mental. Okay, so second aspect of the answer is that if he wants to learn meditation, you should be the last person to teach him. He should introduce him to a good place, a good meditation place, where you have someone who is experienced in training people, who has a proper environment, okay? And I personally am very Americanized. You can talk all you want, but look at your results. What is your track record? When I hire someone, I hire a contractor, subcontractor, what I ask for is referrals. How long have you been in business? What are your credentials and so forth? Okay, and so that's why to me, like most Westerners, the track record is very important. When I chose my teacher, because I look at his track record and looked at the people that he trained, his students, how far they got, how good are they? Because the teacher might be very good, but if the students are no good, then what's the point? He can't train. That's what happens in my generation. My generation, we don't know how to train. My master taught my peers, brought them up there, but never taught them how to train. So therefore, when I first started, when I first started teaching, I said, I'm no patriarch. I declare to you, I'm just an idiot, okay? Trying to make ends meet. My teacher told me to teach, therefore I'm teaching, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I tell you what, there's a second patriarch who I know who he is. He is not a she, by the way. Okay. You want to know more? I ain't telling you. It's a bait and switch. Can I tell you something else? I tell you why I'm not going to tell you. Okay, so anyway, so I said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm only doing it because my teacher told me to do it. And he never told me how to do it. Okay? But I tell you what, I'm going to try to figure out how to do it, but when that second patriarch decides to declare himself to be a patriarch, I will refer you over to him because he's supposed to be the expert. He's in charge of this. I'm not. I'm just an amateur. Okay? And so that's why I say I can't wait. I said a few times. Okay, my disciples say, well, okay, if you want. But nowadays, okay, after almost 20 years now of teaching and practicing teaching, and you, my students, so after 20 years of watching what they're doing over there for their students, okay, for the third generation of Mahayana, the Qin generation. Anyone over there has a Qin, Q-I-N, Q-I-N. The Qin is a very interesting concept. Qin begins with a Q and with a stick there. Okay? What does that tell you? I'm very graphic. What does it tell you? You're observing them for a long time too yourself. What does it tell you? Q-I-N. Q. Q is a bubble that has a pin. So you stick in the... It's a bubble with a pin in there already. What's left? Nothing. And that's why I observed. For over 25 years, I've been watching the Qin generation, looking at who's good, who's capable. Okay? So that I can learn. And say, if that's a good person, I say, that's another one. That's a good one. Then I will figure out how, what is the strength, okay? And figure out the technology behind it. But after 25 years, what's left? Nothing. The track record is zero. And therefore, even if that guy comes out, I'm no longer sending people over. Because what you have right now, he'll stick a pin in there. I mean that this is what Westerners judge us. Yeah? Huh? South Carolina, G.I. Joe? If you don't feel anything inside of you, you would have stopped already. Yeah? If you don't find it beneficial, you would have stopped already. But them people over there, they are brainwashed into believing this is the best there is. But we real true Westerners, they say, hey, what does it do for me? How do I feel every day? Am I getting along better with my wife? That's important to me. I love my wife. I want to build a better life with my wife, with my children, with my family, my relatives. Am I getting it? Yeah? Am I doing better professionally? Yeah? I love my parents. Am I getting along better with my parents? Or is there any hope at all? You know? To me, that's a track record. So the Westerners are very, very tough unless we see results. Unless I see results myself, even as of today, I don't see results in what I'm doing today. That what I've been doing today and last month, I would have stopped. I said, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going to Waymo. I'm going over to Hinduism, Tibetan. I don't care. If I peak, it's time to move on. Okay, dokie? Yes, sir. 7.
Master, I don't mean to take you off topic, but I do have some public service information regarding medical treatments for stroke victims if the gentleman up in San Jose wants the information. There's a Korean doctor down here in Laguna Beach that will inject Enbrel, which is etanercept. Enbrel is some kind of arthritic preparation that people take, but this is non-recognized, but nevertheless, he's got a big operation in Laguna Beach, and he'll shoot the etanercept into the base of your spine, and the results are pretty miraculous. People get up that were paralyzed after the shot and walk out of his office. Of course, it costs about $10,000 for a shot, but if you've got the bucks...
And how many shots do we need?
You'll see miraculous results, and a lot of people come back every few months for shots. We're talking about Laguna Beach, so, you know, people who live down there got bucks. Yeah. But anyway...
10,000 at least per day in rent.
10,000 for a shot.
No, 10,000 of rent per day. The office for a doctor is about 10,000 a day for rent.
10,000 a day for rent?
Oh, yeah. We're doctors. Never mind. I'm kidding.
Well, I don't know. But knowing a little about stroke victims, if your friend has any limb paralysis, it usually happens on your right side or your left side, that means that the neural pathways are shut off. And I don't think Qi can even affect that.
Yes, it can.
It can go through neural pathways that are shut off?
Yes, sir. If not, it will make new pathways. Either it forces it through, or it will create another channel.
I was just going to assume that it would be better if you started with a little bit of operation of the pathways. I think you could settle into some Chan practice and really improve. For neural pathways, Chan is excellent at, in particular, developing new pathways. That'd be great. Anyway, that's all.
Good information. But again, we're not giving out medical advices. It's just some thoughts to throw around and check with the professionals. That's what they're there for. Okay, very good. So the point is that I would advise your friend to look for a good teacher. Okay, if he's serious, then he should be doing that. He doesn't have to do it all at once, but he should try this, try that, and so forth. Having the big picture in mind. Okay, he should do the research and make the discovery himself. Okay, and in particular for stroke victims, meditation is very, very helpful. any form of meditation is helpful. But ours will be the most effective because it's the hardest. Okay? So very much like if you want to receive training, you go to these top schools, much harder to get in, much harder to survive. When you come out, you are a lot better off. Same thing. Okay? Our style of Chan training is really can handle from low level, okay, to all the way to elite level, depending on your needs. In the top schools, for example, you come in, but they spit you out, you don't make it. In the Chan, we don't discriminate. We help you at your own pace. Okay? All right, good luck to your friend and to you.
Master, really quickly, since he's had a stroke, would it be more advisable not to cross his legs just yet, since that stops the blood flow at the knees?
Not at all. It's the exact opposite. Because of the stroke, by crossing his knees, it actually will help a lot more. So the longer he can cross his legs, he'll feel more tired, okay? Only because it's clearing more pathways. It's the qi is actually attacking, drilling through. That's why he'll be more tired. But actually, and the end result, even though he's more tired, but he finds that his stamina increases accordingly. And that's the result. Okay? But he needs to do it under supervision. It's not something casual at all. Okay? There's a lot more going on than I can explain to you. Okay, so I hope he finds a good place, a good teacher, good guidance, because it sounds like he needs it. Okay? And he needs it real fast. Time is of the essence. He's too young to allow his body to peak at the current level. Okay? Which basically he's half of a man. A quarter of a man. Okay? That's not good enough. All right? So I would, if I were you, I would not try to tell him where to go. Tell him that there's a need for you because of quality of life. Okay? The most important part of our for us is the brains. Second most important is the heart. Yeah? So usually in Chan world, brain and heart are usually use the same term. Xin, tâm. It's the same thing. It actually is very clever, okay, to call them the same thing. Okay, so actually it means that our practice, whether it's Chan, whether it's Tantra, whether it's ceremonies, is affecting both the mind and the heart at the same time. This is our secret. Okay? The Chinese patriarch have so much wisdom. That's why they chose to use the same word, mind and heart. Same exact word, meaning everything we do, if it affects the mind, then it affects the heart. All right? That's why Chan is actually can save his life. But finally, it's a matter of whether he has enough blessings with Chan or not. It's difficult. If you don't have enough blessing with Chan, your level will be low or zero. You cannot even get near Chan. You reject Chan. There's some people, okay, the husband might be a Chan practitioner, a good level, pretty decent level Chan practitioner, but for example, the wife would reject it. Say, I don't like it. Okay. There's good reasons for it, but I'm not going to go into it. Okay. Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. We have a question here from Din Tai. It says, I have a question regarding mantra recitation. Is it normal to recite and feel tired while chanting a mantra? Do I keep chanting and wait for the tiredness to pass? Thank you.
Ignore the tiredness. If you're tired when you chant a mantra, that means something good is happening. Okay? As I said during in the previous answer, when this person who had a stroke or has some heart issues, they start practicing chant, they feel more tired, okay? But they're too low level to realize that the tiredness there is accompanied by more stamina after. Very much like when we exercise, okay, we get tired, but our heart is stronger, especially when you do aerobic exercises. Our heart is stronger, and therefore our stamina increases. And it takes a while before you notice it. Yeah? And so the tiredness is sometimes the price you have to pay in order to increase, to realize some benefits. Yes, DTT.
Master, thank you for your time. I had a question about sitting in lotus and how it connects your mind and body. What happens with the energy in your body when you sit in lotus for meditation as opposed to another position?
Can you be more specific? What is your concern? What are you looking for?
I'm wondering what happens. Why does sitting in lotus help us with meditation? How does it help us grow spiritually?
Okay. The training in full lotus is a Chinese Chan secret, where it is something difficult for almost all of us to do. So it's like you presented with a mountain and you told, would you like to climb it? There's a treasure on top of the mountain. If you can climb it, you get a huge, huge treasure that you'll be very happy with. Okay? But it's a mountain, so it's difficult for you to climb, especially since you never climbed mountains before. For most of us, it's very difficult. Okay? So that's the process of Chan practice. You can choose to climb at your own pace. For me, I went slowly first. Okay, I could sit for 2 minutes only in full lotus when I first started, and then I said, "No, this is too much. This is not cool." Okay, so I immediately unbuckled. I said, "Too much pain." Okay, and so. Whereas some of the students that came to us recently, the first time they sat would be like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay, it's very impressive. So each person is different. So the training is that it's not so much how long you can sit. This is a misconception about our training. Listen to me carefully. It's really not important how long you can sit. Our training is about how long can you endure the difficulties of the sit. Meaning that if for you, you can sit easily for an hour, okay? And then after an hour and a half, that's when you begin to struggle. Okay? That's when the training really begins. Whereas for us, typically, we have a hard time in the first 30 seconds. So our training begins after 30 seconds, whereas for them, their training begins after an hour and a half. You see? So the benefits are proportional, number one, to the difficulties that you're willing to endure. Okay? And when you get a little bit higher level, that's when the length matters a little bit more. Okay? So it's this full lotus training here is basically something difficult that requires you to persevere. And it builds character besides building stamina, patience, and all the good things. So this is why it's a very, very superior form of training, of self-discipline that the Western educational system is pretty ignorant about, because Western education, our Western wisdom is about self-indulgence. Okay? We advocate, we worship self-indulgence. Well, this training here is Chan training that we're teaching you is about perseverance, about endurance. Okay? This is why it's so important to bring about balance in your life. If you spend, like the Westerners, like you, spend your entire life pursuing ways to indulge yourself, you find out when you get to be my age that you're still very unhappy. Looking back, you're unhappy your entire life. There's a sense, an overwhelming sense of dissatisfaction. Doesn't matter how much good food I ate, great wines I tasted, how much money I have, how much success I have, I still have a sense of unhappiness, unfulfillment. Okay? This is invariably what happens to us Westerners. When 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I remember a quote from the guy who used to own TNT. I forgot his name. He founded ESPN, and then he bought over TNT. He married that actress. Ted Turner, thank you so much. See, my marriage is failing me. Okay. Yeah, your era, my era, our era, okay? So he says, he quoted, he says, the one thing in life that you can never buy is time. Okay? Because he used to be a playboy. He has fame. He has a gorgeous actress, his wife and girlfriend, okay, who quickly rejected him. And he says, after a while, he says, the only thing you cannot buy in life, no matter how much you have, okay, how successful you are, is that time. You cannot buy time. Okay, so that's what happened. A guy who led a full life, a real playboy, who was younger, continued to be a playboy, okay, his entire life. When he's near the peak of his life, where it's not much else he has an experience, he look back and he says, oh my God, I wasted my life. My time is running out. I'm still dissatisfied. He didn't say that explicitly, but that's how I read it. Okay? So this is a typical of the Western style of the Western lifestyle. We pursue things, externals. At the end of our lives, we remain dissatisfied. Yes, we had fun and so forth, but deep in our heart, we're dissatisfied. Okay? For example, for Mr. Turner to have so many girlfriends and wives and so forth is because he never could really love any woman. How horrible. He says, he probably, this is my words, okay? He probably told himself, if I could just find a woman to love dearly, my life would have been worth it. Is he still alive or is he dead now? I don't follow him anymore. Still alive. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm more like anti-Musk nowadays. I'm looking for things he says for me to criticize. Or anti-buffet. You see, it's so sad to me for someone so successful, so full of life, a fun person, interesting person, when he's nearing the end of his life says, oh, I'm so unhappy. No one is that close to me. You know, Buffet in all his failures, he still have a wife who loved him. You know? So you see, this is because of the imbalance of the Western lifestyle where you only pursue externals. Like me, you know, love me. I want to be richer. I want to be more famous. So all are externals. They are unhappy inside. And so finally, let me shorten the question because I'm running out of time. Is still another question here. The difference when the China approach is that we do something difficult that's part of your training so that we refine our soul, our mind, and our heart. And you find that it brings balance to our lives. All our students that hang on so far, including the wives who are taking it very slowly, they actually are seeing, you know, nice things happening to them as well. Okay? Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask any questions. Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. Din Tai has a few other things to say, and then there's a question from somebody else. In regards to Din Tai and the mantra recitation he was doing, he says, I passed out once from pushing too hard and I fell asleep. Is this normal? Thank you for your guidance.
It's not quite normal, but nothing to worry about. If you pass out, and you wake up. You didn't die, did you? Don't worry so much.
Yeah.
You know, the first person who passed out. It won't be the last either.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay, and then there...
Good luck to you. Yeah. You never know, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is a comment here from Narkin's Wildlife Prevention and Recovery Center. The comment is in regards to full lotus. It just says lotus. I developed concentration and endurance for physical pain, which distracts me from emotional pain. Now I sit comfortably and try to relax and let go of emotional pain as I did with physical pain.
Excellent. Exactly. The young lady who just asked the previous question, exactly what happens. We don't sell you these benefits because there are too many benefits for us to bother selling you. But this is what will happen to you if you go through the training. You see changes happening to you very quickly, depending on how aggressive you are in your practice. Thank you for your feedback. By the way, it helps all of us. It helps me because it reinforces me, it gives me reassurance that we are still on the right path, okay? Because as we get more feedback from you, we learn more and have more data points to improve our practice. Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. I just want to do this quick follow-up. The person who just made this comment says, gratitude for Master Yonghua. Lotus does quickly develop concentration and endurance.
Yes, it's a good start, but you see a lot more going on than you think. Okay? It's a lot more, way a lot more. If full lotus is only develop endurance and improve your heart, it still cannot solve the problem, Mr. Turner. This is what happened. This is what's awaiting you when you get to be his age. I think when he said that, he was in his 60s or something, okay? When his strength is on the wane, okay? So a lot more going on than you think, okay? Yes, go first.
Master, in one of your old tapes, you mentioned that there are different obstructions we experience that prevent us from going to the next phase, and each phase has its own stage of progress, rather, has its own obstruction. Is it important for us to know what these obstructions are, or do we just continue and we blow past it as a product of our progress?
The way we train you is that you don't need to know. Okay? Reason, a very fundamental reason for that is that we try to minimize your knowledge. The less you know, the less attached you become. The problem with the way we wired is that we all love knowledge. We all attach easily to knowledge. So that's why we tell you enough only to make progress. We sort of like, push you gently, corral you like horses, wild horses, okay? So like a horse, it just sees where he can go. It doesn't need to know where it's going. And it gets there. That's all. It gets to a good place where we can capture them and sell them at a good price. Gotta make money somewhere. I'm kidding. Okay. So that's why the direct answer to his question is that it's on purpose, so we don't tell you too much. When I spoke those things, back then, see, he listened to the old tapes. This guy is very, very ambitious. He checks my message, What he's saying today is consistent with what he said 10 years ago. Of course it's not. I change my mind constantly. When I said it, it's because back then, I was preparing my students. Some of them had the potential, so I said, at different stages of your journey, there are certain types of obstructions. So the better good know advisors recognize your state, okay, your level. This is why I started teaching the old abbot and said, you better start learning how to recognize where people are. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do. Okay, and at each level that you're able to recognize them, you know that for next level, there's certain types of obstructions. Okay, so as a good know advisor, as a teacher, you understand where they are, and you understand the nature of the obstructions, then you can be taught how to guide them. The guidance that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas provide us, we don't even know what's happening, do we? Huh? And that's, the nature of the guidance. We don't need to know. You just need to follow instructions. So the instructions, when I talked about at different level, you have different types of instructions, different types of obstructions, and that means in the future, my students hopefully will learn how to give the typical instructions or how to guide their students through these obstructions. So what happens for us ultimately is that you've been able to make progress without specific instruction. Oh, this is what you need to do next because it's better for you. Okay? Because it's not only are we concerned about next level, but also the levels way above it. So if we give you this instruction here, okay, to make it the next level, the problem what happens to most of you is you become attached and you say, I'm so cool. Now I am 3A, which is a lot higher than most monks and nuns out there. Huh? I'm so cool. I'm important. And you only see this. You forgot where you're going. And this is nature of the attachment. We don't want to tell you too much. You see, we want you to go up here. Here is nothing to us. It's too small for you. Okay? Huh? That's the nature of Chan training. Okay, we stop here today. Good discussion today. Thank you.